It's a United States love affair with Formula One at the moment, so what a thrill for everyone today to see our drivers lapping COTA at full hot lap speed. It's the Circuit of the Americas, and it's qualifying.
Hello everybody, it's Joe here, and welcome back once again to my F1 24 career mode journey. We are here at Austin for the US Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last instalment, do be sure to check that one out before you see this one. Also, if you're a couple behind and you need to catch up, then you are able to do so on my playlist, F1 24 career mode. It's wet and gloomy for sprint qualifying here, but I'm not going to let that dampen my spirits. After a disappointing Singapore, I'm hoping to come back strong here and maximise my points, and with a sprint weekend, that gives me the perfect opportunity to maximise in fine style. First off though is the sprint qualifying, and we've set the 5th fastest time, which becomes P6 at the end of SQ1, so not too shabby a start at all, but ideally I would like to find an extra couple attempts. It's quite difficult in these conditions to find it though, especially when you're trying not to lose the car. And I think the thing in these conditions is confidence. Confidence is key. You've just got to believe that the car can take it, otherwise you end up not really going for it and losing bucket loads of time. But so far, we're looking quite nice on this lap. I'm finding that confidence to push, finding where the grip is, and as we head out of the last corner, that felt like a pretty good lap. 1:41.8, which is good enough, of course, to top the timesheets in SQ2. Norris and Leclerc close, well, not that close behind. We really annihilated the pack in SQ2. And here we are now in SQ3, it's still raining. The conditions in for the rest of the day, and I'm hoping the cars ahead aren't going to hold me up at the end of this lap. I believe it's the 2 Papaya McLarens. I'm really hoping I don't get backed up here. In fact, I think they're both peeling into the pits, so we've got a clear run into the final corner. What's this time going to be? Are we going to be able to take P1 again? Yes, we do! It's pole position for the sprint race here in Austin. What can we do in the sprint? Can we hold on to P1 and potentially take our first ever sprint win?
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? We have 10 turns to the left and 10 turns to the right here. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Sunshine lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Russell, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Magnussen, Gasly, Stroll, Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Joe, Ocon, Sainz, Behrman, Albon, and Théo Pourchaire. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And joining me in the commentary box today with the best view on what is about to unfold and some strong views on the action we're about to see, Naomi Schiff. Well, they say that
I have 10 feature race wins, but I don't have any sprint race wins yet. And after 10 laps here, I aim to change that. And we are underway here at Austin. That's a very slow start though. Piastri's got a good start. Verstappen away even better on our right as he takes the lead. And I broke just a little bit early to avoid Norris on my left colliding into me. And we fall down to P6. Norris and Leclerc getting physical through the left-right corners of Sector 1. And I've dropped back even further and I'm at risk of losing P6. That is not a good start at all. Oscar Piastri leads, Max Verstappen is second, and I think George Russell is in third. I'm now having a look at my teammate Charles Leclerc round the outside there, and on the exit I have got ahead of my teammate Charles Leclerc, and next up is Lando Norris, but I don't think I'm going to do him here. However, we have gained one position off the start. We're diving down the inside of Lando Norris and successfully taking that position, so we have moved up into P4, but still that first lap a bit of a disaster as we started on pole. We did drop to 6th, but we've moved up to 4th, and now we're applying the pressure a little bit to George Russell. Oscar Piastri is trying to break away from Max Verstappen, but I don't think Verstappen will let that happen, and we're starting to... Ooh, that rhymed. We're starting to catch up with Russell. Can we give him a bit of a hustle? Right, I'm going to stop now, and we're going to focus on the race. Here we go then, closing in on Russell, closing in, moving to the outside. Russell covers the inside. I think Russell just about keeping the place for now, but I'm not done yet as we have a look down. I mean, that was never going to amount to anything more than a cheeky look. We're going to have another look there, but nothing in doing, and we just have to wait it out. Next time round, here we go. We're attacking Russell again, looking for the inside. Am I getting that done there? No. We're now going to the outside, and Russell really covering as I go almost off the track there. And in fact, I think we were 4 wheels off the track. Russell not willing to let that go, and we're still going side by side. Here we go into the complex, and we switch down to the inside, pulling the perfect dummy on Russell there. He didn't expect me to go to the inside, but that's what we did, and we took P3. So we are storming back upwards and trying to make our way back into this race. Here is Max Verstappen, meanwhile, going after Oscar Piastri, going down the inside of Oscar Piastri, and I think he's got that move done before he even gets to the corner. We've spent the next few laps pushing and trying to catch up with them, which is what we have done, and we've brought George Russell with us. He is not willing to get off my rear because he thinks he's got a chance, and Piastri's coming back at Verstappen, and the more these two fight, the better it is for me. Verstappen and Piastri going side by side, but Verstappen holding on to the lead. That's going to make Piastri a bit vulnerable. I might have a little cheeky look down the inside, and we've got it done. We're ahead of Piastri, and now setting after Max Verstappen. Can we do anything about him with 2 laps to go in this US Grand Prix sprint race? I definitely would like to think so. We nearly went off the circuit there. I'm pushing so hard. I want this sprint win. And here we are, 2 laps to go. 7/10 behind, using everything at our disposal. We're rapidly catching Verstappen. He goes to cover. I go to the outside. And we're trying to hold out. Verstappen keeping the position. And Max, he's more than prepared for anything I have to throw at him. But we might throw at him the cheeky inside dive bomb here. No. Verstappen, we're too far back from him. So we just have to wait it out. And now it's lap 10. It's the final lap. If we're going to do it, we have to do it now. And we cannot afford to fall behind Verstappen here. We need to stay with him. Otherwise, it's over. Verstappen will win the sprint race. And we're quite far back. We're still 6/10 behind. But I think as we go onto the straight, we're closer than we have been. And this is going to be our best chance. 6/10 of a second. Overtake, activate, DRS, activate. And we're going for the inside. Verstappen's covering, but I've been able to blast past him before we even get to the braking zone. And we now lead this US Grand Prix sprint race. We started on pole, dropped all the way back to P6, moved up to P4 by the end of the first lap, and by the end of this 10th and final lap, we have moved back into the lead, and with just a couple of corners to go, if we can hold on without throwing the car off or getting a penalty, it is going to be a sprint race win for the first time in this career mode. 8 points heading our way, and we take the sprint win.
Just want to say,
yes!
all the haters, this one's for you.
Well done, mate. Well done. That's a great finish. You've really stepped up and achieved what we asked you to do today, so good job.
Crazy to think we hadn't won a sprint race yet, but there we go. There is our first sprint win. Verstappen getting second, Piastri third, Norris fourth, Leclerc getting fifth, Tsunoda sixth, Magnussen getting some points on the board in seventh, and Lewis Hamilton taking eighth for Mercedes. Happy for Kevin Magnussen. He was running in the points at Singapore only to throw it away, so he'll be happy to get some points on the board there. It's time for qualifying now, though.
For everyone today to see our drivers lapping COTA at full hot lap speed. It's the Circuit of the Americas, and it's qualifying.
It's time to do it all over again here in Austin. And after a successful sprint race, I'm hoping for a successful feature. But one question I have, what happened to Max Verstappen to put him down in P19? And is he going to improve? One would think so, wouldn't you? But anyway, qualifying has begun for this US Grand Prix. We're up on the first two sectors on where we need to be to get into the top 15. Quite predictably, because, well, the car is just amazing, isn't it? And we're finally back near the front after losing a couple of upgrades before the mid-season. We are sitting about second or third in the pecking order, so I'm a little bit worried about losing another upgrade soon. But we're not quite top of the performance table yet, so nothing to worry about. We lose Gasly, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Albon and Pourchaire from Q1. Ferrari 1-2 at the moment. Here's hoping we can carry on that momentum into Q2. There are a couple of cars ahead. I'm hoping that they're far enough ahead that they won't interrupt my lap here in Q2. This sector, I love it. It's such a challenge to nail it perfectly, but we do on this occasion. And when you nail it through there, it just feels like the car is on rails, doesn't it? Right, we have caught up to the traffic, but Ocon getting out of our way. We do have a couple of other cars, but I don't think we're going to catch them, and it's going to affect our lap, so I think we're pretty safe there as we hit the apex of the left-hander, bounce over the curb, turn 20. Well, we nailed that corner, didn't we? I don't think we could have done that any better, and it's a 1:30.9, which gives us the fastest time in Q2. With Russell and Norris behind, we lose Piastri, Behrman, Ocon, Zhou Guanyu. And I'm actually surprised that we've lost Piastri. He looked so quick in the sprint race, but this is F1. These things change so fast in this sport. Yuki Tsunoda setting the bar here. Now, I did go out early because I was worried about incoming weather. It is forecast to rain in this session, so I was hoping to get a lap in early, bang out a quick time. So the pressure really is on in this early stage, but we have just risen to it. Leclerc set a fastest time, and I obliterate it by 7 tenths. And in the end, Lando Norris gets second, and George Russell gets third, but nobody was touching my pole time there. That was a good lap, and that was enough for pole position in the US Grand Prix.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself, 14 miles southeast of the city centre, has been home to the US Grand Prix since 2012, the latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside of the great city of Austin. This is a 3.6 mile lap with 20 corners, 10 to the left and 10 to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sunshine lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Norris, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Leclerc, Stroll, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Albon, Joe, Théo Pourchaire, and Ollie Ben. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me, bringing glamour and expertise to our commentary today, Naomi Schiff. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say, they've got the better.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Sprint race pole was converted into sprint race win. Can we convert the Grand Prix pole into a Grand Prix win? It's lights out and away we go here in Austin, and we made an okay start, but look at Russell from the front row taking the lead, and I'm trying to stick the inside line to not lose any more places. Verstappen banging wheels with me. I'm trying to run Verstappen wide, but you're not going to frighten Verstappen. He will not scare easy. He moves up into second place. We are down into P3, and that's very wide there. We might even lose third to Lewis Hamilton. I'm fighting Hamilton off quite hard, but no, we do end up losing it. Hamilton getting through, and we drop into P4. That is not a good start to this Grand Prix. Hamilton now in third ahead of us, and want to try and get past him down the straight, and we're very close to him, so I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to if we just drain the battery a bit. Hamilton staying to the right, we move a bit to the left. I don't know quite what I was doing there, but down the inside of Lewis Hamilton we go. Are we going to take P3 back? Hamilton's fighting me quite hard here, and in fact Hamilton is able to stay ahead of us there. So lap 2, we're now coming back at Lewis Hamilton using the DRS. We should be able to get, nope, not down the inside, round the outside we go, and Russell and Verstappen are having their own little battle. Russell wants this, but Verstappen not letting him have it, and in the end Verstappen, I think, has taken the lead from George Russell. We're trying to take P3 from Lewis Hamilton round the outside, and we're still side by side, but eventually Hamilton has to concede, and we move into P3. My next mission now is to catch the two in front, if we have the pace to do so. The pace was there in the sprint race, so I'm hoping it's still there in the Grand Prix. 2 laps done out of 28, and Verstappen's lap time was pretty good there. He sets the fastest lap. Hamilton's coming back at me into turn 1 though. I'm making him go in tight, and Hamilton has got the move done. And the annoying thing is now I'm losing time to the front 2, battling Hamilton. That's not how I wanted this to go, but it's how it is going. Lap 3, we're coming back at Lewis Hamilton, and we've got the 2 V-Carb cars right behind as well. Perez and Tsunoda, I'm sure, waiting for an opportunity to come at us if this goes wrong. Blasting past Lewis Hamilton down the straight now. Hamilton braking later and keeping the position. Hamilton is having none of this, and neither am I. And down the inside of Hamilton we go there, and we managed to retake P3, but we're losing time to the leading 2. Right, here comes Yuki Tsunoda. I believe this is Tsunoda passing Perez. So is Tsunoda quicker? I don't know, but we're soon going to find out. Perez losing the position to his teammate, and he's got a McLaren right behind him. And that's Kevin Magnussen pulling off to the side. After his DNF in Singapore, it's another DNF here from a points position. Oh, that's heartbreaking for him. He was doing so well and looking so strong here. We are now pulling clear of Tsunoda and Perez. Hamilton has made an early pit stop. I'm not quite sure why, but Hamilton dropping down in making that pit stop, and the 2 V-Carb cars have dropped back, so it's just me by myself in P3. Verstappen and Russell though are still pulling away about half a second a lap, so these 2 are looking pretty quick. I'm wondering, do I try and undercut, or do I run a bit longer? The answer is I'm going to run a bit longer and hope for a safety car. I have 4 seconds to Tsunoda and Perez, so I have a couple of laps in my pocket that I can stay out longer and not lose position. But, I mean, at this stage of the race, I am slower than Verstappen and Russell, and I'm just contemplating my options. So I am going to run a bit longer instead of going for the undercut, which probably wouldn't work at this stage with them being 7 seconds ahead, and then I'll have fresher tyres at the end to attack with, so I might be able to come back at them with that. We'll see how this transpires. It's lap 12 of 28, and we're still sitting pretty in P3. Right, lap 15. We've run a couple of laps longer, and the tyres feel like absolute crap, so we're bringing it in now, and Verstappen is close to within about 6 seconds of me. I think, looking at the gaps, we should come out near Hamilton, hopefully ahead of him if we have no dramas in our pit stop, which for once we actually have. So I'm hoping that we had enough to Hamilton to get out ahead of him. His tyres are going to be very old by this stage, so Hamilton might be a bit of a sitting duck even if he does get past us. But look at that, that's worked out quite nicely for us. We're just ahead of Hamilton, and we've got a nice clear bit of track. So I'm now going to try and bring that gap down to George Russell and Max Verstappen. Verstappen's 13 seconds ahead, so that's going to be quite a tall order. But with the newer tyres we have, which are about 3 or 4 laps newer, we should be able to attack Russell at the very least. So that is the plan, and this is Fernando Alonso getting past Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's, well, like I said, his tyres are going to be feeling a bit older, so he could be a sitting duck to some of these. Lap 18, we've set the fastest lap of the race, and now the charge is on. We've caught George Russell by 2 seconds in the last 2 laps, so if we carry on at that rate, yes, we will catch him by the end of the Grand Prix, but I can imagine there will be some tyre drop-off, and it will end up being something like half a second a lap we catch him in the last few laps. So I think maybe Verstappen is too tall an order, but I'm definitely going after Russell. I want that second place. This is Sergio Perez attacking Lando Norris. Norris going to cover, and Perez going round the outside. And I tell you what, in that V car, Perez has been quite feisty this season. He's having a really good season. Down the inside of Norris he goes. Norris now trying to fight his way for the inside of the left-handers. And has Norris got that done? I think he has. But Perez not giving up. And Perez edging ahead. Perez moves up into P5. Next time round, Norris, he's going to want that back. And Leclerc and Piastri are lurking. Hamilton has dropped to 11th. I think he's taken a second pit stop. But here comes Lando Norris taking back P5. Perez having none of it down the inside. And this is Charles Leclerc getting very interested, hoping that maybe it'll go a little bit wrong here. And Lando Norris, has he just about got this done? Perez holding the inside line. Norris round the outside, but the outside line there will give you a better exit. And Norris taking P5. The gap to George Russell now, by the way, at lap 24 is now 3 seconds. So we are not catching quite as quickly, but we're still little by little bringing the gap down. And it might just end up being a last lap showdown between myself and Russell if I can close the gap. Lap 27, we're 1.1 behind before the DRS zone. And you can see with my erratic lines just how hard I'm pushing to catch up with Russell. Verstappen is 3.5 seconds ahead, so we're not going to quite interfere with his race. But as we start the last lap, we are well within DRS, so we're going to be able to attack Russell. I'm not going to use overtake on the straight because I'm not going to try and do it on the pit straight. It's not nearly long enough. We're going to save all our battery for one overtake down the main straight at the back of the circuit. We're going to have one chance to do this on George Russell. We're staying within 0.4 of a second round the tricky first sector. And I think we nailed that one. Look how close we're getting to Russell now. So it's clear that our tyres are holding on better than George's. And we're getting very, very close. And I think this is going to be it. Russell seemingly struggling for traction. And we're less than 0.3 of a second behind. This is it then. Overtake activated. DRS activated. And there was nothing Russell could have done about that. We were through in the middle of the straight. And Russell dropping to 3rd. We're up into P2. And if only we had 2 or 3 laps more, I might have been able to take Max Verstappen. Here comes Sergio Perez, though, on Lando Norris. Norris just caught sleeping there. He literally just had no straight line speed. I wonder if Lando struggling with some kind of problem there, but Perez just caught him napping. But it's the final sector. Like I said, I wish we had 1 or 2 more laps. We might have been able to fight Verstappen too. It's going to be a win for Max Verstappen. But P2, that's not a shabby day's work at all, and I will happily accept that. The pace wasn't entirely there, but towards the end we were able to make it count.
Okay,
P2,
job,
not a bad day's
really well
work.
done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
Such an important victory at this stage of the season. Any points you can achieve to go towards the table is really going to mean a lot to the team. So well done as they prepare for the end of the season.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Like I said, the pace wasn't really there in the first stint, so we ran longer, and in the second stint, we did have pace over them, but I think we just lost that little bit too much time. But P2, I'm still very happy to take from this race. Max Verstappen wins. Russell gets third, Alonso gets fourth, Perez takes fifth off of Lando Norris, Leclerc and Piastri 7th and 8th, Tsunoda 9th, and Lance Stroll rounding out the top 10. And Hamilton didn't have a second stop, so he literally lost all those positions just having little to no tyre grip towards the end and having older tyres. But still, I'm happy with where we finished. Again, I think maybe even if 1 lap was all we needed, because we're only 1.1 behind Verstappen, so if we'd have caught him on the straight, we might have had a go. But the championship-wise, the gap is now up to 39 points to Lando Norris. Verstappen, 41 points off, so he has gained a couple of points this weekend, but not a lot for me to sort of be alarmed at this stage. Russell is 4th, Alonso 5th, Leclerc 6th, and it's Hamilton, Piastri, Stroll and Perez rounding out the top 10, with Tsunoda dropping out of the top 10. And in the Constructors' Championship, we have edged the gap back up to Mercedes a bit, and we've really knocked the points up to McLaren. Well, thank you for watching this instalment of Career Mode. Don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe. Thank you for watching TTFN. Ta-ta for now, take care, and I'll see you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.